I am writing a book and I am currently in a slump. Hi there, I'm Nicole Wilbur. I am an author, and on this channel, I talk out loud, think out loud about story. And I am writing a multi POV YA romance book, and I'm working on the third draft, and it has been something of a struggle. I'm finding it really tricky to just continue getting momentum with this project, and I think I know why. It's because it's five POVs, and so switching POVs every time I switch, it does feel like I'm working on a different book, basically. This book is taking me longer than any other book I've ever written to write every single draft of it. So we are on draft three. I'm working on the third out of five POVs. I may be about halfway done with it. And we're going to talk about strategies on how you get out of a writing slump in this video today. Yeah, I feel like what a writing slump is, at least to me, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this, is very much I it's not that I haven't been writing. I have been a little bit. I've written it's like August 11th. I've written 3 days in August, which is not great, right? I want to be writing more consistently than that. At the same time though, these writing sessions don't feel particularly productive. They feel hard. They feel like pulling teeth. And part of that is that it's revision, not drafting, because when you're revising, you are supposed to be judging every word that you're writing down. However, I'm still doing some fairly developmental edits, and I often am just like paralyzed by the the thought of the next words, right? It's a tricky one to write. So, a few things I'm trying to do here, because when you're in editing, it's so tricky to not just be judgmental about everything and not to have the editor's hat on and just see all of the problems. So, number one, we're going to turn on the Spotify playlist. Number two, for this next scene that I'm going to write, I'm going to really focus on thinking of the magical cookies and the set piece ish nature of it. A set piece being a scene that's memorable to the audience. I don't think the scene is like a classic set piece, but what is something that someone would remember and love about this scene and that makes me love and remember about this scene? And we're going to do a lot of self pumping up. So let me pull it up and I will explain to you exactly what we're doing or exactly what I'm writing today. Here is the book. It is in this ugly blue folder. I wish I wanted to find a prettier binder, but I didn't. I just went for the cheap one, which is so sad because I would like it to be pink, ideally, but it's blue. So what can you do? Um, and all these tabs are for different characters, basically, when I need to find them quickly. But then I quickly ran out of colors for characters. So I have more characters than colors. So that kind of went by the wayside. Maybe I should just put more tabs and maybe it would make me feel no, we're focusing on writing. The situation that I have now. So the scene that I wrote yesterday was a big winning moment for this character. Her name is Sophie. It was like a midpoint almost. I think it was about a midpoint. Um the structural thing is still a little bit off. In this, it's like a little act like 2A or act 2, depending on how you want to break things up. It's like a little bit heavier than it maybe should be, I think. But I always forget about act 4, so or act 3, whatever you want to call it, act 3. I think in 4 acts. Let's just say act 4 because it is 4 acts. Anyways, um yeah. I'm a little stuck with her because originally I had that midpoint thingy for her happening during the day on Thursday. And then something else happens Thursday night. But now, and then we have the next scene, which is her big discovery. She discovers some very critical information in the scene I'm meant to be editing today. The problem being, now, because of the way I've structured this and me wanting to make more of a midpoint, so there's a midpoint party. This story takes place over 6 days, Monday to Saturday. And there's a midpoint party on Thursday where a lot of characters have their midpoints. It's a big thing. It's a big thing in stories. There's usually a party, get all the characters together in one spot off you go at the midpoint. So, problem being, now all the characters are in this room doing this thing, and it logically does not make a lot of sense for something to happen in another character's scene at the same party. I'm just trying to think through, make it make sense, you know what I mean? And does that character's thing happen before Sophie's midpoint or after Sophie's midpoint? And it happens before Sophie's midpoint, but when it happens before Sophie's midpoint, like directly after feels really weird. Whereas when it's happening and it's been a few hours since Sophie's midpoint, it feels a little bit better. If I was to reverse it, maybe it makes more sense for the Sophie's midpoint to happen and then, oh, okay, I figured it out. So this thing that happens that I don't know what to do with it within another character's POV is currently happening before Sophie's midpoint. In draft 2, it was happening after Sophie's midpoint. And I think it continues to need to happen after Sophie's midpoint, because otherwise Sophie's midpoint does not work emotionally and also makes one of the characters look like such an asshole, which he is. But we want to have some empathy for him. So, okay, I think the solution here, in the interest of feeling like we have momentum and getting out of the writing slump, is to be like, okay, we're focusing on Sophie. The scene with the other POV I will place later. It's okay. And I will just move on to the next one. And the next one is nice. The next one is a sequence of 2, and I honestly don't think I need to make too many changes, which is why this could be a cool vlog, because I could finish 3 scenes of Sophie's in it, because 2 of them don't need very much work. I've had them written and they haven't changed very much since the outset. You know, there's always a couple scenes in your book that you just like, they have the tone, they are the thing, and like they just don't. They barely change. I had a couple key ones in Some Kind of Criminal that were the same thing. Like the best scenes, you just know that they capture the voice, they capture the character, they you just nail it on try one, you know? And this one, I think I do. I think I have nailed it on try one, more or less. Okay, so I have the book open to the page, and what I do when I'm editing it, as I'm just going through and reading it, I already have some things circled here, just some, as I was reading through the book initially, like I have echoes, I have fit and fitting and perfectly and perfect. I have to change a little image because of the switch I just talked about. Some of her interiority needs to change a little bit just to fit with our new timeline. This paragraph here, I have a paragraph I'm just circling that I feel like needs just more finesse to it. Maybe this happens after sneak peek. This is the problem with deciding to edit, and I did need to do this. I needed to do an edit pass where I did each POV by themselves to focus on their story. Sophie's story has always been pretty consistent. So I think the problem, though, is I have an idea of how all the pieces slot together globally. I have spreadsheets, obviously. Everybody loves a spreadsheet. But because I haven't looked at Julian's or Char's yet, things might move around. And obviously, anytime you move a scene around in a story, it's not as simple as dragging it in your little Scrivener or novel pad or whatever it is. You have to then make sure that the scene matches the place that it's in. And this one, I think this one happens after sneak peek. That makes more sense. Yep, that makes more sense. Okay. I have a bit I just deleted from another scene that I can put in here. So sneak peek happens, and this is the transition to rehearsal. That makes sense. All right, so I'm going to continue doing my edits on, I'm going to do this scene and the next one because they're kind of a little sequence unto themselves. And I will check back with you in a few minutes. Looking at the second scene now. I don't know if you can read that, but up here, oh yeah, because it's cinematic mode. This just says bad. I've just circled a paragraph and written bad. Rewrite it. It says, Sophie stared down at Brandon's phone, frozen. The phone felt slippery in her hand. She was hot, sweating, then shivering. Ooh, don't love it. It's mostly she's staring at the phone. The phone is slippery in her hand. Like, it's because I think I was thinking she is hot, sweating, and shivering. Like, her palm is sweating, and so that like starts to slip. It just maybe it's the order that's wrong. I mean, the language is not the most inspired language in the world, but what does it feel like to have your what it feels? The phone is not slippery. Her palm is now like sweating. That I'll rewrite that. What do we want to rewrite that as? Sophie stared down at Brandon's phone, frozen. Sure. Sometimes it is really hard. One of the things that I find hardest to write is like emotional reactions, things that are supposed to be more sort of sudden. I can write emotions well when a character is like feeling an emotion. When a character is kind of shocked and processing, I find it more tricky. More tricky in that I just don't want to do the same thing every time, you know? Especially when you have multiple books where characters have been reacting to things, you're like, oh, hey, um, hello. It can't be the same repetition. So, yeah, I could almost, yeah, this doesn't make sense because she's staring at Brandon's phone, frozen, and then she catches sight of herself in the studio mirror. In fact, that bit here, the staring at herself in the studio mirror, that's actually good because it's specific. So I can probably just cut everything before that. Good. This is why I like editing. I'm not supposed to be line editing, but you can't help but line edit when you're developmental editing. At least I can't. Tell me if you can. If you can actually be like, oh yeah, this pass is only for this thing. And then you're like, oh yeah, this pass was for developmental editing, but like I really have to spend 30 minutes on this sentence, you know? Okay, so I tried to write this one with the knowledge that the magical cookie is very much her like discovery. Um, I also put on the song that like one of the songs from my playlist for this book. This playlist is this playlist is weak, man, but it's because it's a Christmas book, so all of the songs are Christmas songs except for Jump. And okay, they're not all Christmas songs. I have Glitter in the Air by Pink, and then I have Jump from Love Actually. You know the scene, and it's real cute. Um, but the one I was listening to is Thank God It's Christmas by Queen, which is a very important song in the book. Um, and I just been listening to it on repeat, and weirdly, it's been helping a lot. I can't listen to different music, but I can listen to the same one with lyrics on repeat because then it just becomes background noise. Anyways, so I did edit it. I kind of rewrote the beginning, and I pulled something from something I deleted before. The situation is I'm realizing that a change I made earlier in the midpoint-ish scene might, and I made that change, to be fair, when I was working on Lewis's chapters and Sophie was standing right there. I think that that change is potentially screwing up the suspense of this scene, and it's taking the air out of the balloon. So I think I need to go back and quickly change. It's literally just a line of dialogue that is too on the nose. That's too on the nose. And fix it. So it's less on the nose, so she's less suspicious. And so she's more surprised. Because as I'm writing this, I'm thinking a lot about expectation and surprise. And what's the character's expectation going into the scene, and then what actually happens. So part of me is worried I made this scene a little bit weaker by starting it with a bunch of description of her just like performing, and there's not a lot of conflict in it because she's performing and she's loving it, and they come off stage and they're like, oh, that was great. But I think by putting an expectation in her of like, okay, I'm going to use this moment for this other thing and then have this thing come up. Because when you're surprised by information and it comes as like a surprise, you do have to be doing something else and having another goal because otherwise you're just sitting around waiting for the surprise to happen, which is completely unrealistic, right? So I think I've I think I've made it so it works. Album album covers. Sorry, I found a typo. I use Novelpad, which is a software that I really quite like because of the way it does revisions. And I do have it on. I have asked like 15 times in their Discord and checked their privacy policy that there is no AI being used anywhere in this product at all. I did turn off. They do their spelling, grammar, and style check from Pro Writing Aid, and I like turned it off because I was worried that Pro Writing Aid might use AI. Although they say that there's no AI in the product, but I'm just nervous about it. So I turned it off, and maybe I should turn it back on, and I should just put on spelling and grammar. The style suggestions drive me nuts. They are not good, but I could turn a spell check on because spell check is normal, and I'm just making typos and I'm not noticing them. So I am a little worried when I put this into Word to like export it and send it to betas and agent and stuff like that. Um, it's just going to be what's the word a horror show of spelling errors if I don't put spell check on. Just so I can have them underlined, you know. Anyways, I'm gonna go back, make the change in that earlier scene, and then work on the second scene in this sequence. This is going pretty well. Am I going to get to the third scene? I don't know. In this vlog, I will, whether it's today or tomorrow. I will. Okay, so obviously it was not changing just one line of text. I changed the dialogue to something. I think it's okay for now. I did have to obviously then change all the interiority. I think it's good though because I don't want her to be expecting this too much. Like she needs to have thoughts, she needs to be intelligent, but she needs to I can't have the I don't want too much repetition or too fast progression of the arc, if that makes sense. She is a little suspicious. What happens at the midpoint alleviates her suspicions. Then this scene happens, and she, in this whodunit type thing that is happening within this romance, she finds out the truth. And so now she is properly surprised. Like she thinks she's gotten everything she's ever wanted, and then she's surprised. This poor girl. I feel really sorry for her. She's not a very likable character, but then all this stuff happens, and you're just like, damn, I'm sorry. Okay. That's good. So now I should go on and do the other chapter. I really do. I'm running out of time. I have a meeting in about 2 hours. This isn't going to take 2 hours, but I need to do a little bit of prep before then. So I'm hoping I can like really quickly. I know what I need to do. Maybe if I set like a 20-minute timer and try to get this last one done. I will not finish Sophie today. We'll have to go to tomorrow. That's okay. But if I can get a little bit more done on this, that would be great. Make me very happy. So I'll put the song back on and go for it. Alrighty, so I think that's gonna have to be it for today. It is 40 minutes later, not 20, but I did finish that scene. So yay, that one is edited. And it ends on something of a bounce out, something of a cliffhanger. It's not bad. I think I'm happy with it. I think it makes sense. I am always so worried that the prose is not perfect, but I'm like, you're not line editing. You're not line editing. We're not at line editing. This is a developmental path still. So I have one more chapter for Sophie, which I will do tomorrow with you, and then I can move on to probably Julian because I think Charlotte might be the hardest. Well, not the hardest. Mia was the hardest, so Charlotte's gonna maybe be the next hard, and I just want to feel some momentum. And then, of course, once I do Charlotte, I have to do the interstitials and Saturday. So it's like, oh, I'm more than halfway done, but I'm probably not. But that's okay. Interstitials are fun. So yeah, that is me for today. And I'll chat to you tomorrow as we do the next one. Okay, so it is now Friday. I wrote 500 words in this next scene. This is the last scene that I'm doing for Sophie in this round. Yesterday, I went to this really cute pub actually and met with a friend who'd been on my Oxford program. Actually, not even really a friend, just someone who'd been on it, and we hadn't really talked to each other much. But I was in Melbourne and she was in Melbourne, and so we got together and it was great. This is such a fun scene. I have maybe like an hour and I'm gonna try to finish it. Okay, so I use Novelpad, which is basically Scrivener that doesn't give me anxiety. I finished it. We finished the scene, and when I finished the scene, because I'd set a goal of 600 words today, I got little confetti works that went over the page when I reached my goal, which is so fun. They've made a lot of little fun changes in this. So there we go. Apart for a couple scenes on Saturday, which I'm going to do everybody together when I edit Char's scene, we're done. We're done, Sophie, and we can move on to Julian tomorrow. So I am going to end this vlog here. If you enjoyed talking about story and hearing the editing process with me, you can like, subscribe, do all the things. Tell me what project you're working on and what stage you're in with it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next Friday.